No.
Boom.
Boom, we're live. Neil, it's doubleheader night again.
Double-headed doozy.
Yeah, we just had Paul on from the Santa Cruz Film
Got
Festival.
the guy from the film festival, got the race car driver. You wouldn't think that was going to match, but it's gelling nicely.
It is gelling nicely.
It's gelling nice.
Yes. Well, we're in a racing community here on the West Coast. A lot of the best racers currently in the country.
Let me ask you a question. You race. I mean,
Yeah.
you race. You got your Camaro. How, at 1 out of 10, how good do you think you are?
Compared to our guest tonight,
I've seen him run. He's really good. He's really
Every time I
hey,
the last two times I've been up there, I paid my $30 to get in, right? And just in time for his race, I see him come around, and he gets crashed.
Oh, yeah.
He crashes in the first 5 seconds.
That's why when he says, "Are you racing tonight?" I go, "No." I don't want him to show up.
It's the most expensive car show I've ever been on.
Let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
Well, and I will not tell you when I race, just for that reason.
Thank
from
you.
now on, because
Thank you.
it is true. I crash when you're there.
I see your photographs. I go, thank God I wasn't there.
Yeah, the nights you're not there, I'm holding the boards up. I'm on the podium. Tonight, Andy Lally's here. Welcome to the show, Andy.
My pleasure.
A quick introduction with. So my friend Patrick, he races, and one day I have a little boardroom racing Instagram, and one day he's like, "Hey, Andy Lally's following you," and I was like, "What? Like what?" I don't know how you found boardroom racing.
I found
Here.
I walked in here and was like, oh my God, and just stared at your rafters for probably 2 hours. Your staff probably thought I was shoplifting. I don't know. Patty was working here.
Pat was at the time.
And
Yeah,
I must have had a racing logo, because I was going down to Laguna Seca.
Right.
And we started the chat, and then he's like, my boss races. He's got a race car across the street. And I'm like, what? And I didn't even know where your dirt track was, halfway between here and
Laguna Seca, right?
At Watsonville.
Watsonville.
Watsonville. And I just, it blew my mind. And the weirdest thing that day we met, it was awesome. I mean, that was cool as hell. The connection was crazy because I saw a boardroom racing T-shirt. And I'm like, what is this?
Right.
And then he mentioned it, and
Well, that's amazing because that's how I kind of met you, and we've become friends over the years. There's nothing better for me than to get to watch you racing NASCAR. You know, some of those races. Oh my God! There was one time where you were like top 4. Maybe it was at the Roval. You were like right up in front. Which race was it? You got someone spun you out, I think.
I was fortunate in my last. I had 4 top 5 finishes in my last 8 races or so. So we were probably, it would have been Daytona that I was like second or third with like 2 laps to go.
Yes.
And then I got into it. We led at Portland for a while. Ty took me out on a restart with like 5 to go. But we had a top 5 at Mid Ohio. Did 2 top 5s at Mid Ohio back-to-back years. Had a top 5 at Road America. Had a top 5 at Daytona. A lot of fun. All Xfinity stuff. You know, I'd hop in a cup car here and there. Hopped in a truck a little bit here and there. But for the most part, recently
I do have an Xfinity stat here. You
He's
have
got the stat.
9 top 10s in Xfinity racing.
Yeah, out of only like 20 races. So
Yeah,
I didn't get to do. I would get called to substitute for guys that weren't experienced on the road.
Road course.
So-
You're a road course assassin.
They usually call them road course ringers.
Yeah, but I mean that's your forte.
It was my forte because that's what I'd been doing in the IMSA series for the last 20 some odd years, and so to jump into the road course, NASCAR road racing for me is my favorite kind of racing, hands down. It's partially why I'm now involved in the Trans Am series because it's a similar feel, and if I could make my dream series, it would be stock cars on road courses.
Which I think would be amazing.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Looking back, do you wish you had more time in the stock cars? Then, because you were so successful in the IMSA road course racing.
For sure. I mean, my dream as a little kid was to be Richard Petty. You know that.
He was the king, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
the
the king.
king.
I mean,
Right.
when I was really young, it was Richard Petty was the man. It became Dale Earnhardt. From that point, when I was just a senior in high school, was Jeff Gordon's rookie year. So, like all these guys were.
He just did that movie. It was on Netflix about Dale Earnhardt.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen that either. I
Oh
want
my
to.
God! But you know,
Yeah.
it was violent. It wasn't just racing cars. It was beating the shit out of each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I just wondered if would you enjoy that type of racing, or do you like the racing you have now today?
I prefer knockdown, drag out,
Okay.
beat 'em up. That's why I like
Stock cars.
stock cars.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't care. He just went.
I'm going to put the glasses on, Neil, for a second, because I want to read a couple of stats.
Let's just hang on just a sec, ladies and gentlemen. TC's wearing glasses. I bought 10 pairs from him at least 2 years ago, and tonight he finally
Well,
wearing.
it's been degrading. You know, as in my senior years here,
just
the
wanted to
eyes
make
are
a
not
notation
happy.
You sell boardroom racing.
And we have reading glasses. We need
Yeah.
them.
I'd get some.
Just a few stats that I discovered today with you is that you are a 5-time Rolex 24 at Daytona class champ.
That's pretty neat.
That is an amazing stat. That is one of the most prestigious races.
It is. It's for me. It's my crown jewel of all. You know.
Did you get to watch?
I'm fortunate. I've had 8 of them because they give you one for championship too, or they did back when Rolex was sponsoring the championship.
Right.
So I've been fortunate. I've got
The
5.
big bottle of champagne
You
on
get
the
big box,
podium.
you get the big box. My first Rolex, Jackie Stewart, was the Grand Marshal. Grand
Jackie
Marshal
Stewart,
handed me
yeah.
a watch. So Jackie's handed me a watch.
Oh, he could race a car, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He was back. That's when F1 was. Half those guys wouldn't make, or half those guys aren't with us because they couldn't have made it through because those things were horrendously unsafe.
Yeah. How do you know how many? Because you go back to being a youngster in go-karts, winning championships. I know how many championships I've won. It's 2. How many championships have you won in your career?
Oh gosh, including go karts. The pause would, I don't know. I'm not
A
sure.
lot?
Yeah, it'd be more than 10 because
More than 20, probably.
Nah, it'd be between 10 and 20. I mean, maybe sometimes we count like team championships or there's endurance championships, all these silly things that sports cars adds on that give somebody a trophy at the end of the day. But as far as driver championships, it's between 10 and 20 if you count everything. But
If there was a Formula One race on TV Saturday, would you sit and watch it?
no.
You wouldn't sit and watch it.
No.
Why is that?
Formula One has gotten much better in the last couple of years that one team isn't dominating.
That's what happened. That's what happened 2 years ago when he
and then Verstappen. So
Verstappen
it was,
won
it was Hamilton wins everything. Verstappen wins everything. Before that, it was Vettel wins everything.
Right.
It just wasn't that interesting. It's whatever change, I don't pay attention enough to it that they've made has now you've got a good battle between Norris and Piastri. And Verstappen and Hamilton's drama at Ferrari is kind of neat. I'm a Leclerc fan, so I've casually gotten back into it, but I was completely I tuned out the year Mika Hakkinen retired.
That's a name from blast from the past.
Well, I don't know. They lost it for me. And the NASCAR racing was I like a battle. I don't like there's excitement in standing starts F1, get through the first turn. 4 turns later, if you let me watch that thing and give me odds, I'm gonna bet your podium, and I'm gonna win way more than 50% of the time.
I watch racing on YouTube because I love the 10-minute,
Right,
shortened,
condensed,
highlight reel of a race. To me, currently you are the boss at Trans Am. How's that been? This is your first year doing that.
For someone like me, I don't know what Trans Am is. What is Trans Am?
So Trans Am, next year will be the 60th anniversary of the Trans Am Series. The Trans American Series started in 1966 and essentially was the muscle car road racing championship of the universe. And it was, outside of NASCAR, it's the longest running road racing championship in North America. NASCAR's got us by a handful of years. But it's been running and strong for quite a while now. Our premier class, the Trans Am class, is a 900 horsepower, 2,900 pound car with big downforce, big tires. I mean, lap time comparatively to NASCAR. It looks like a stock car that's shorter, fatter, with more downforce and a huge wing on the back. And plus 200 horsepower. So it's quite a beast.
That's a
around the
spec
track.
car?
Which
No, it's in fact it's probably one of the last of the big series to where you've got a lot of range on what you can do. There's not a homologation is not a word that we use on the Trans Am side, fortunately. It may be somewhere we go in the future because that might be kind of what we need to do to keep costs from kind of going through the roof like they are in a lot of other different series. And we see that in all of racing, everything from fuel costs to tire costs, everything's going through the roof. So we may have to take steps soon to try to sort that out. But yeah, this is my first year as the president of that series. This is like my first real job.
what was a car you'd like to race that you never got an opportunity to race? And second part two, what car would you never get in again?
Anything open wheel without a windscreen on it. Like IndyCar's finally gotten their act together and putting a full screen on stuff. Even the F1 stuff with the little flip flop top thingy. I don't know. It doesn't seem when I was younger and dumber and whatnot, I'd get in anything. I've been fortunate to drive. In 2001, I drove a 1990 something Benetton F1 car for fun that a collector had that he needed some setup work done. I got to drive that. I've driven open wheel up to Toyota Atlantic, obviously stock cars all the way up to the Daytona 500. Honestly, there's not too much that I'd want to do. I want to drive Gravedigger. That would
the
be
monster
rad.
truck.
I want to race.
Do you prefer
monster
a
truck.
road course or while we're going around, as the Englishman's going to tell you, going around in circles?
So it's oval track racing for the casual fan that doesn't get it is incredibly hard because it doesn't just have to be like there are some ovals that are easy to drive by yourself. Those ovals are very difficult to race side by side because when it's easy to go just as fast as everybody else, how are you going to get ahead of that next guy?
Right.
And so that challenge is a whole different strategy. The ovals that are tricky to drive, for me, like my favorite two ovals are Dover and Homestead. Pretty basic looking on paper ovals, but a concrete high bank, which is like a Bristol on steroids in Dover, and then quite a changing line course at Homestead. We've got so many different lines you can run, including the most challenging, which like Kyle Larson is king at, which is like half an inch off the wall.
Yeah, on the wall.
And I've done that, and it's so fun and so challenging, and you're hauling the mail doing that. And like I don't even mind the cookie cutter tracks, like Charlotte Motor Speedway, the typical mile and a half that NASCAR has been gradually pulling away from doing that, where there was 10 of those, 8 of those tracks around, and there'd be 16 races of the season. Those are still super challenging. You're doing like almost 200 miles an hour. Now they've choked them down a lot, but back when I was doing them, 200 miles an hour up and over a rise and into a bank. It's a 3,500 pound dump truck with a space shuttle engine on it, and you are hauling the mail into that corner. So
I run Charlotte a lot on my sim rig, and it's hard. It's not a consistent shape. Each side of the track is totally different.
Exactly. Your 1 and 2 are so different from your 3, 4, and people are like, "What are you talking about?" It's
different.
It's different.
I wreck a lot.
Back in the old days of Dale Earnhardt, when the whole sport seemed to be down south, right? In the southern, pretty nice part. Has it now branched out to across the whole country?
So much so that like Race City, USA, which is Mooresville, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Back then when all the champions came from there, we went a couple of decades without a Nextel Cup, Sprint Cup, Monster Energy, NASCAR Cup champion coming out of there. You're just now getting the sons of those kids that are coming up through, and grandkids coming up through it and doing that. And you're going to see like Connor Zilich is Mooresville-ish, Charlotte-ish area, and
winning
he's
everything.
Be the next, he's
little skinny kid.
Right? Yeah. Came through the TA2 series, the Trans Am series, as a starter there. Justin Marks is one of his proteges. So you're seeing that come back there, but like Jimmy Johnson, who won 5 years in a row, is a California guy. So it's
Kevin Harvick,
Kyle
Larson.
Guys,
it seems like there's so many different groups of racing going on. Where's all the money coming from to fund all these races. And,
On the NASCAR side, there's enough eyeballs on it that other companies want to be involved.
yeah.
And so when you on the NASCAR side, you either get your consumables, your Cokes and your McDonald's and your whatever that know that their demographic is watching these races, so they find a popular driver, sponsor that. So the TV money that comes in and the prize money. So when you fill the stands and they get X amount per person per whatever kicked back into the purse, there's ways to make that happen. You look at, but that said, you look at a Roger Penske running Blaney, Cindric, and Logano, and so much of his racing is subsidized through B2B stuff that he has with his, the billions of dollars that he does in business.
Yeah.
So when you see a Pennzoil on Joey Logano's car for X amount of years, that just means that Pennzoil oil is being used in every Penske trucking company around the deal. So
Scratch backs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like with Hendrick and Larson, with Hendrick cars, it's...
Rick Hendrick owns a gazillion car dealerships. So that HendrickCars.com is on Kyle's deal because he's still a little bit untouchable from his COVID slip up.
Right.
When he was sim racing there.
He dropped the N word.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Lost his sponsor.
Yeah, lost everything. It was actually don't try to cancel me. It was the best movie he ever did because he went from Chip Ganassi racing
to Hendrick,
winning nothing to dominating and winning a championship.
Yeah, the 42 car before, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was tough on him.
Yeah.
And he used to race sprint cars here in Watsonville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's the nicest guy. And,
he is.
And honestly, in my opinion, Kyle Larson's the best race car driver in America.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah. The only one to potentially challenge him is going to be Zilli.
He's NASCAR driver.
No, but he raced Indy 500.
Don't they do both? They do both, right? You got NASCAR drivers getting in Indy cars, right?
Very rarely, but Larson did it last year. Was quick, qualified in the top 6, I think.
Yeah,
he was in a very good car, but still qualified very well. Crashed out of the race, I think, but still ran very good for 0 IndyCar experience.
Well, he also wins sprint car races. Last year he won NASCAR, sprint car, late models.
Won the Chili Bowl.
Yeah, won Chili Bowl in the midgets.
Isn't the big kahuna the Indy 500? That's the one you want to win, right?
The one I want to win is the Daytona 500.
The Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Right.
The Daytona 500 in stock cars is the one, and that's the one he wants to win.
Yeah.
And I went to the Daytona 500 a few years ago. What a spectacle that is! There's like a million people there,
right.
and the grandstand.
Will you get
is
that
a mile
opportunity
long.
or no?
I raced the 500 in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably the first 10 laps of that. So in 11 and 12 were the 2 years that we did what they call tandem racing, where the aero package was so weird that you basically needed a partner and you needed to hook up and push. And so I was in that deal, and as a rookie, nobody wants to push the rookie. They're like, okay, kid, get on my bumper, if you can find a guy to even push you. And so the first 10 laps I did of the Daytona 500, where we're 3 wide and all hooked up and pushing, was probably of all the dumb things I've done in my life, which is a lot, that was probably near the highest adrenaline spike I'd had in my life, because also it was the realization of a
You can't fuck up.
Well, I mean, it happened right in front of me. 3 rows up from me, about 30 laps in, Dave Ruderman spun Michael Waltrip, and it started the big one. And I thought I was clear. I shot the bottom. I hit the apron, thought I was good. Biffle came down spinning and just caught my right rear and snap hooked me up into the wall head on in turn 4 right underneath the flagpole there.
And so 30 laps is all you got that one?
Well, we fixed the thing and brought it back out, but we were 10, 15 laps down at that point. We just were around the pack.
A lot of these stuff on Netflix, you see the kids doing it. Kids coming out of the ranks. They're all in go-karts. Is that where you started on?
I did, but I started in a go-kart at 12. These kids are starting in go-karts at 4.
And they're ripping.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ripping.
They're
Right.
going.
They do a winter barn deal out here, and it's like, and again, it's like the kids, the grandkids of racers, and it's affordable. That is probably the most affordable way to go racing is go-karts. Yeah.
Got some cars on that.
I just want to talk about some of the cars that I found today that you've raced. Folks, he has raced in these cars and crashed a few of them, too.
Some of them, for sure.
I see you have a Porsche GT3 Cup.
Yeah.
And what's a cup?
It's just a special edition Porsche. I think that one was, they went from the
I think it's quick, TC. It's quick.
Yeah, it's quick.
So that was in 2004.
Yeah.
Well, we can back up here because some of these ones are just exceptionally cool.
We know. See, we know. You must be important because we don't do notes.
No, never do we do research. There's a 911 Porsche GT America.
Yeah. So
And that was with Magnus Racing. That you raced IMSA with Magnus for a long time.
13 years.
13 years. And he goes through some cars. Here's Magnus Racing in an Audi R8. I came and saw you race that car.
That was an amazing car. One of my favorite GT3 cars I've ever driven.
Was the Audi
They
R8?
were very, very well.
They're beautiful and they sound like a Formula One car.
Yeah,
man.
it sounded awesome.
Yeah.
And honestly, the
What car was that, TC?
The Audi R8.
Well, remember we said Stretch out here. Remember?
That Stretch drives an Audi R8.
Yeah, you know Stretch.
He's a surfboard builder.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he pulled up one night.
We didn't know whose car. Whose car is that?
And he had just put on like a $20,000 exhaust, and it was like flames coming out of it. It was crazy. The Acura NSX GT3
sleeper.
sleeper.
For the GT3 car was amazing, but the street car looks like not supercar-ish, performs supercar-ish. That's the street car is the Evo. So it's got two 60 horsepower motors on each front tire, and it's got a twin turbo. They're small turbos, so it's better for the top speed. But the electric motor we did a photo shoot at Daytona with this thing, and I wanted to get in the street car, and so my teammates flanked me in the two team
Race
NSXs, and we did the photo shoot, and then they were done. They were going to do just the race car, so they sent me around the pace car, and it's like midnight. We're doing this photo shoot, and I got to zip around the rest of Daytona in that street car and was massively impressed with it.
Wow. All right, that's cool. That was in 2017. The Lamborghini Huracan GT3
That's gotta be
Evo
a bad ride right
It
there.
was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah.
with Magnus Racing.
Yeah.
That was just 5 years ago.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Did that car get wrecked?
It did, actually. In fact, the anniversary of that was just a couple of days ago. We lost the ABS going into Turn 5 in Canada, and John drove it straight through the wall in there. But yeah, he nothing he could have done. The pedal just goes rock solid when you lose the ABS, and he shut it off. He was okay. He climbed out from underneath the tire wall, and
So John owns Magnus Racing?
yes.
He
John,
likes...
John Potter, his middle
John
name
Potter.
is Magnus.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Now,
he's been
John.
my teammate for the
Yeah,
last
you're a
13
teammate,
years.
yeah.
One of my best friends, good dude. Lives out in Salt Lake.
When my watching you race IMSA, since we've been friends, I was watching you. It seems like he'd go out and kind of hang around the back, and then you jump in and you go to the front, and he jumps in and kind of goes to the back a little bit. Nicely said, as possible.
Typically, we would split the race. He would start, I would finish.
Is this a 24-hour race?
No, we run all the races. We'd run 12 to 14 races together a season. In fact, I just had a Facebook memory. John and I won Laguna Seca 10 years ago today.
Wow.
What is it? No, it was 12 years ago today. It was 2013. And so,
I mean, you guys won a lot of races. I'm not denying it. But...
And so here's the thing. So they rank the driver ratings and whatnot. And so he owns a couple of hotels. Now he owns 8 or 9 hotels. But he's a businessman. He's got 20 different LLCs that he does. So he thinks about racing 5 days a month. And he maybe gets in a car, maybe does a race on average less than once a month, a year. And so he is just myself, my other peers
racing all the time.
I'm in the car for the next 5 days right now. So it's we're going and going and going and going. And so when he hops in, it's like you look at that and it'd be like watching a UFC fight where the guy that lost the fight, you're like, oh, he's not that tough. He's a badass. John would wipe the floor with your average motorist, but he's going up against other pros,
super pros,
and he's not running last, but he's he's mid packish or something like that. But then I was fortunate that we got some good results.
No, you guys had some amazing races. It looks like some really cool cars. You got into the Aston Martin Vantage,
yes,
and that was in the GT3 class as well for the last few
car.
years.
No.
Dog.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I never clicked with it very well. We finished second with it at Daytona twice, but I never wanted the car. It was like 5th on my list when we were talking about cars to go to.
Which is cool because it looks like he just bought cars he was interested in.
Exactly. John is a very mellow. He's like, that'll be neat. Let's try that. And so, we hopped around to different manufacturers and tried neat stuff and gave me great experience.
No Mercedes.
Man, I wanted that Mercedes way more than I wanted that
Aston Martin.
Yeah, I was all about the Mercedes
Because they go good.
John, if you're listening, we should have gotten that Mercedes.
Well, they're so badass.
They are.
Mercedes.
Was there ever a race that you wanted to go did you get to you asked ever to drive at Le Mans?
I finished 3rd at Le Mans in 06.
Did?
Raced there twice in a prototype, that's the only way to go to Le Mans because that track is so smooth and so quick that you really...
Prototype's one with the wing on the back? The straight wing?
Yeah, it looks like
wing?
a spaceship.
Yeah,
Back then, this was before they were closing the cockpit, so you're doing 200 miles an hour down to Mulsanne with your head out in the wind, you just guffing it around. And we did it virtually with 2 drivers because we had a 3rd driver, but he only did 45 minutes of the race and he bailed out. So Ian James and I did the whole rest of the race, and it was.
Why'd he bail out?
He just wasn't feeling it. It was the team owner, and he great guy, just wasn't on the pace and was like, "Hey, this is on you," and it was like 24 hours with 2 drivers.
Wow.
It's tough. So,
can we branch out into skateboarding?
Absolutely.
I don't know if you've done
it's just your racing career is impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been very, very fortunate. I called it quits in January of this year. I'm not saying I wouldn't come back for maybe like a one-off NASCAR Xfinity or Cup road race or something.
If Rob called, would you go?
If what?
If Ross got called, would you go?
Oh, man, I want to just get him back in a bowl with me again. I'm 3 knee surgeries in, so I haven't been skating bowls that much anymore. But if Rob calls and we're going to go do like a WRL race or something like that. What
we should do is surprise him, have you come back when you come back to Santa Cruz and have Rob come down and be on the show.
He might be down there this weekend, will he?
I'm going to shoot him a text to see if he wants to come, because if you guys want to come too, let me know.
We know that he loves Ferraris. We're talking about Rob Roscoff, by the way. We will transition into skateboarding. You are a 3-time world champion luger.
Street luge, yeah.
Street luge.
Yeah.
Which was an X Games sport. It's a daredevil
What was
sport.
that kid that was just here on the show?
What was that downhill.
Yeah.
I was here.
Were you here?
I was here like the day that evening or something, and he, gosh, now I'm blanking.
I'm blanking on it too.
I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
good kid, up and
Yeah,
comer.
good kid.
straight into a curb at 50 miles an hour. He said it was sliding on his ass. He said that was exciting.
I did some stand up, and I'm honestly, it's the level that the stand up guys have raised it to now. Like,
You say is that means speed?
yeah, so talent level. So they're doing toe slides at like 50, 60 miles an hour. Like just a little speed check, like a little whoosh, back, and you're like, good Lord. Like that is, again, it's like you watch some NASCAR guys going around in circles, and you're like, oh, and you watch this kid just kind of step this little wiggle thing. You don't realize the precision that these guys, like, a lot of my buddies that do stand up, I would love to hop in there. I'm 50 now. It probably a little bit close to too brittle to be standing up and doing that. The street luge feels like a race car. It acts like a race car, and I set it up like a race car. Whereas the stand-up stuff is not as intuitive for me, and I would trust myself solo, but honestly, like, I don't trust my talent level in a pack and to react like that.
Situation.
Yeah, it'd be fun, and I messed around. I've got up to 50 miles an hour on a stand-up board, but I wouldn't want to be 50 miles an hour tucked right behind you, doing a pendy coming into a corner and just be within inches of these guys that just it's wild to watch.
Yeah.
When X Games was doing luge, you were involved?
So I saw my first street luge on the cover of either Transworld Skateboarding or it wasn't Thrasher. I think it was Transworld in like 1990, and I was like, it melted my brain because I'd just given up skateboarding. I gave up everything when I got a go-kart, and so I just instantly lost interest everything that I had a massive passion for, and only did this. But then I saw this Street Luge on the cover of I think it was Transworld. Was there something called Skateboarder magazine? Whatever.
There was Skateboarder too.
Okay,
Yep.
maybe it was on the cover of that. It was Bob Pereira and somebody else, and I was like, oh my god, this is like. When I was street skating, we went from ramps to street all of a sudden. Street got popular in like 88, 89 in New York, and Long Island is pretty much just like it snows for 5 months of the year, and then the next 5 months of the year we deal with getting off the sand off the road that we put down while we were there, because it's kind of one big beach. And so, like, street skating sucks. And
sand?
Yeah, we would go from grocery store to grocery store to grocery store, and we would kind of start at the top of the hill and would be downhill most of the way, and that's kind of what we would do. And I would have fun sitting down on my skateboard and bombing hills, and I got to a point where, like, it was like, go ahead, guys, and I'd walk back up the hill, and in my head, I was, like, racing a car, which is what I always wanted to do, and I had fun doing this. So when I saw Street Luge, I was like, this was made for. How do I not know this is around? And of course, it really wasn't in New York. It was all West Coast.
Did you make your first one?
I did. In fact, I
what if you know Sid? You know Sid Abruzzi from Rhode Island? In Rhode Island, yeah.
Sid
Abruzzi.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
He
I
has
don't
that-
know how to say his
what's
name.
Water Brothers skate shops.
Water
Water
Brothers.
Brothers.
Yes. Yeah.
Legend up there.
Yeah.
He's known as the package.
When was your first luge race?
2001. So I got in the last year of the X Games and the second to last year before Gravity Games ended. And when you came into Gravity Games, Biker Sherlock was running EDI.
I know
at the
Biker.
time,
Yeah.
and he wasn't allowing rookies to go to the Gravity Games. So I was trying. I was finishing well, and I was like, let me in. And it wasn't happening. And then unfortunately after that, it canceled.
Rest in peace. Biker passed away.
Yeah, that was a sad deal. Very sad deal. He was an off-road guy too. He liked car racing. He
had race
off-road
trucks
stuff.
Yeah, he was into it.
Yeah.
He was here multiple times.
Yeah,
I've met him over the years.
Good dude.
And then I saw they're expecting you to race this year in luge. Are you expecting to race this year?
So I just raced last week in Portland, Oregon. There's two. The World Championship. So there's a World Cup, the WDSC, WDSCdownhill.com, if you want to check it out, is putting on races all across the country. It's the first time we went from the IGSA to IDF. There might have been something in between there. And World Skate Games, who is kind of the Olympic committee for skateboarding, every 2 years puts on World Championships for downhill. And so that's stand-up, street luge, and inline. And so next year, the World Championships are at Paraguay, in Paraguay. I'm not sure of the actual hill yet. But you qualify for those World Championships this year. So the U.S. standard for qualifying is a race in Maryhill, Washington, which was last week, and then in 3 weeks from now in Bainbridge, Ohio. And in between that, we actually have a World Cup race, WDSC race, in Salt Lake City, which is the road that literally twists and winds underneath the bobsled track in Park City, Utah.
Oh wow!
And so I'm going to go to. I finished second last week in the street luge race out of 24 guys, and I was the first American, so I got U.S.
American
points for that.
Yep.
And now pretty much if I just show up in top 5. Ohio, I'll be locked in. They only take 2 Americans. They take 2 people to Paraguay. Yeah.
You got to raise money for that, or do they fly you that?
No, you gotta
raise money
your own
for it?
sponsorship for
Yeah.
it. So yeah. I'm kind of self-sponsoring right now. I'm looking for some help from the wheel companies.
We'll put a boardroom sticker on
yeah,
there.
there's already a boardroom sticker. I put my buddy's stuff on there. I got your deal on there already.
License plate frame.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Currently, get me up to speed with luge. Is it a spec luge?
No,
It's not.
It's really cool because there's still ingenuity both in stand-up skateboarding and street luge. So I run a Rogers Brothers board. I'm sponsored by that team. And there's so many different kinds of wheels. Like do you have longboard wheels?
A lot of our Go Speed wheels are over there.
So your normal skateboard wheel, like if I'm in the park, I'm usually running like a 58 millimeter. I know there's a lot of kids out here running like 52 millimeter stuff like that.
58 for park is good.
I like 58 for park, so I run the 58 millimeter 84Bs the bones.
The bones.
I run,
those are that's in that
yeah,
case.
yeah. I still have Bucky's old print, his wheel on there, and so I run those. So my luge wheel is 80 millimeters,
Big.
and way softer.
78?
70A.
70.
70. And we're pushing the boundaries, getting into the 60s now. So I've poured 65As.
Is that a cord wheel?
It is a cord.
It is a cord
Yeah,
wheel.
so
and do you chunk, being so soft, does it chunk out?
if you drop a wheel, have a huge slide, you can chunk it. They've done so. Venom, ABEC 11, and Seismic are like the leading wheel manufacturers.
Right. We've carried all those.
Yeah. Really. I mean, all that. Zach, Chris. I actually ran Seismic wheels for a long time, but I've run all three of those wheels. Really top-notch stuff.
And so when you get to 70A that's the hardness of the wheel, which is very soft.
Very soft.
I do business with like ABEC 11. I don't see that wheel. So is that a special wheel that they?
So you wouldn't. So the 70. I think theirs might be like a 71A. That's their Centrax. It's a gigantic wheel.
That's the giant
It's
one.
gigantic.
No,
So
I've had people
it's
buy
not
those.
something that you would like your longboard wheels that you're selling on your package stuff.
60 millimeter.
Yeah, exactly. And they're this wide. Like I got some. Yeah, you got some big soft.
They
wheels
make over 100 millimeter wheels.
Yeah, so the 101 millimeters is the legal limit, but like it's like putting too tall of a gear in your race car. You wouldn't do that. So like if I was trying to do 200 miles an hour somewhere, I'd have a 100
slow
millimeter
start,
wheel on
fast
there.
at the end.
Exactly.
Right.
And even then, there's this weird. There's got to be some sort of physics and mathematical equation of why, but all of the best wheels are between 76 and 82 millimeters, and something in there, the depth of urethane a lot of these guys are running about a 40 millimeter core with a certain amount of flex. How you build the core is actually important too. How it flexes, and then the biggest thing is for speed on a really smooth track is how much rebound you have in the car. And they call it rebound. I call it compression. Yeah. The way they describe the rebound to me is how I would describe compression on a shock. But with a high rebound rate on there, you get big speed. And so the combo of how you go depth of urethane, overall height of the wheel, contact patch, and then your durometer really has a lot to do with how you tune your luge for speed.
Full circle back to race cars.
Exactly. So
No wonder you love it.
Everything from rake
Yeah.
to your
Camber.
truck angles to matching your geometries. If you've got two trucks turning the same direction, because on the luge we'll run two trucks up front and one truck in the rear. Sometimes if I'm on a really slippery track, I'll actually run 4 trucks, 8 wheels. And so when you have 2 trucks turning the same direction, you actually have to change the geometry a little bit so your friction circle isn't creating drag mid-corner.
Wow.
So there's a lot of science to it. So all the way back
All
to your
your
first
race car,
question,
yeah.
it's not spec. So there's lots of little things that you can tune and engineer your way to going forward. And same thing with skateboarding. And what happens is inevitable. Somebody comes out with the newest, bestest thing, and in 3 months everybody's got that thing.
Are you running skateboard bearings? Or are you running top secret NASA racing bearings?
I've honestly found regular skateboard bearings to be in there. I was currently looking for sponsors, so I'm not going to mention who I'm using right now. But yeah, I've messed around with some ceramics that, but it's got to be high quality ceramics. You get low quality ceramics that suck.
Right.
Yeah.
And are the luge guys cool?
Yeah, very.
There's no crazy rivalries
No, you get little petty stuff, but less than the typical, cross section of Americana out there. And say like the skaters are very. It's the skate division is more competitive than street luge, and so it's at the very front. It's a little more cutthroat, and we saw tempers flare at Maryhill this last weekend with the Maryhill Rats, who put on an amazing event up there in Maryhill, Washington, and it's great. At the end of the day, most of these guys are literally camping together. that are arguing at the bottom of the hill, but there's so much on the line. I mean, this was the check race for the World Championships, for World Skate. So there's money on the line, there's sponsorship on the line. Every one of these guys, they might be best buds and hanging out at night and whatever, but they're on the starting line competing for next year's sponsorship, and that depends for a lot of them whether they make the event or not.
Is he going for the championship?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's hybrids in Formula One now, right? Is it partly?
So, what do they even do? I know they with the I don't even. Did they remove the hybrids from the curves?
But what's the future with now? We're all driving battery powered cars. What's the future of hybrid?
Hopefully, all that crap goes away and we just put gas back in everything.
Well, NASCAR's planning on electric soon.
Yeah, I think they're hedging their bets.
Yeah,
I think they're hedging. I mean, so like they have the three cars that they've been kind of showing off and whatnot. They started doing that at Chicago last year, and they took them around for rides this year again at a couple of different tracks. I'm the president of the Trans Am series. We are unapologetically loud and
burning up dinosaurs
all day long. So the humans are doing so much damage to this planet that what we're burning in gasoline and rubber doesn't even register on the scale of what a mess this place is.
But at that track, every aluminum can is recycled.
So that's the thing, we'll burn rubber and fuel and whatnot. Here's the thing I like to say about anybody that's like anti-racing for the sake of fossil fuels or whatever you're going to call it, or burning rubber or whatnot. If the New York Yankees fly to play the San Francisco Giants, that jet fuel alone is more than the entire field of cars burns in the entire Daytona 500. So we're burning fuel, but it's
one chartered jet going across the country.
Exactly.
And you see the mat. There's like 1,000 jets up in the sky.
These whole operations like Formula One. I remember we had my friend Kenny Hankamer.
Oh yeah,
Kenny Hankamer was the chief for Red Bull Racing.
Mm-hmm.
He came on the show.
And just how they put the cars, they're working on the cars that they're on the jumbo jets going all over the world.
He had breaking news on that show. He said the biggest cheaters drive red cars.
That's right.
That's what he said.
Is that pre-Ferrari scandal?
Yeah, that's what he said on the show.
I got to get him come back on.
That's funny.
I loved it. It was like, hey, that's breaking news, man. This guy's in the pits. It was pretty fun.
But the tire changes and everything, it's unbelievable. Right? The
5
orchestration, the
second
choreographic, it's unbelievable.
It is.
Right?
It is, yeah. Again, I'm going to go back to good old Americana and NASCAR. When you do an F1 pit stop, you have like 12 guys. You actually have 13 guys. You have a guy that stops the nose and 3 guys per wheel. Guy on the gun just goes, you got a guy that puts the wheel on, other guy guy takes the wheel off, other guy puts the wheel on. NASCAR, you got 5 guys over the wall, not 13, and they're running around with jacks, not air wands or doing anything like that. And doing that work in like 11 seconds. So it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
But a 2 seconds pit stop, 1.88 or something now is unbelievable.
Kenny said his toenails were always black, from the front of that car just coming to right?
That's a brave dude right there.
Right, it's a brave dude.
Yeah. That's that which is crazy. And I've been watching NASCAR, and some of the pit stops, it's so close where crew members, where a car misses them going in or out. It's been, by inches.
And that's honestly the craziest thing for me. Like Indianapolis is a spectacle to watch, and the bravest crew guys out there right now are IndyCar, Indy 500 tire changers. That's a very narrow pit lane, and you got these lightweight cars on cold tires, and when they light those things up, they shoot all over the place. And the amount of ankles and toes that get run over every year, near misses, is insane. Every year there's a handful of slow-mo things where you've got a burning rubber tire just going over a guy's toes as he's laying in the pits, putting a tire down, and just monster focus on hitting that one thing as quick as he can. So
have you ever punted a crew member?
Knock on wood, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I've never punted a crew member and never peed in my seat in 33 years.
Wow.
One time I peed in my suit, but it was after the race, and it was my crew member's fault. I guess I might as well.
Yeah, I got to tell the story.
We went to the pig.
So my teammate did one lap. We were in Iowa. It was like 100 degrees, and he pitted because we got a yellow. and it made sense because we didn't have a driving limit time back then. So I got in, I did the whole race. My cool suit broke. I was cooking. I was destroyed. But we won the race. And when we won the race, we drove into victory lane at Iowa. I sat on the door bar. I banged on the roof. I pounded on this, and they came behind me with a 5-gallon drum of Gatorade, ice water. And I was already completely dehydrated and destroyed, and they dumped ice water on me, and I went into shock. And my brain did this weird thing where I just pounded on the roof, and in my head, I flipped 90 degrees, and I was holding on to the roof like that. I wasn't falling, but in my head I was going away, and I finally got grip, and I'm just sitting down on the door bar, but my vision constricted all the way down to just little dots, and I remember looking at my hands clenching to the roof, and I said, I'm peeing. And I can't stop because I was so cold and I was in shock. And thank God I'm in a dark blue suit and I just got 5 gallons worth of water.
Yeah.
So it's probably just a tiny little puddle.
You have to go up on the podium and you're just soaked.
That was the next most embarrassing thing. So I'm wiped out. The podium wasn't a big thing because, again, I'm soaking wet. I'm in a dark blue suit. But I am way out of energy. So we go from the podium, we do a quick celebration, then you go into the media center. And it was Iowa, and it was the first time we'd ever raced at Iowa before. So there was maybe 7 people, 7 news, different people in there. And so I'm on the little microphone talking to 7 people. There's like nothing going on. And I asked for a Coke because I just wanted sugar. I needed to I'm drinking water, but I needed sugar because I was fading. And I'm guzzling this Coke, and in the middle of answering something, I had an uncontrolled burp, like mid-word of just, and then the car was, and I right into the microphone, and I stopped, and I giggled, and I said, at least there's only 7 of you here.
Yeah.
Cool. Put it down. Walked out of the media center, and they were piping it all through the garage.
No.
So the whole garage heard
your burp.
Yeah. So
Hey, that's fun.
yeah, just after admitting I peed my pants in the car in Victory Lane, I then burped into the mic, and it was a funny. At least we won that day.
I mean, like I said, I read your bio today, and you've had so many amazing races and amazing championships, and you're a 3-time world champion loser. You're an MMA competitor as well.
I'm not a cage fighter. I train with those guys. I want to do one to just check the box in an amateur setting.
But you're a black belt.
I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 16 years now, and
you can tell by the ears.
There aren't too many black belt jiu-jitsu people.
No, it's a very
So it's a very exclusive group.
There's not a whole lot of them, and then I round the jiu-jitsu out with my MMA, my Creighton Mixed Martial Arts, which is out of Swanee, Georgia, is where I've been for the last 16 years.
Yeah.
He was a UFC fighter, fought BJ Penn in the UFC. First guy to ever take BJ Penn down in the ring.
Badass.
Black belt in jiu-jitsu, black belt in judo, karate, black belt, gymnast, just freak athleticism on this guy. Dedicated, weight training and whatnot, but great teacher. Best of all, great teacher. And he's developed a bunch of us to black belt, and those guys are teaching now. And I love helping the beginner class and whatnot, and then rounding myself out with my Muay Thai, with my judo, with my wrestling, with my boxing, with all my other stuff that I mix in there. So that's a blast.
Good time for ice cream, though.
He's a busy guy.
Good time for Good time for ice cream. Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
man. Thank you.
It's great having you here because your story's great.
Thank you.
And
my pleasure. And great being here. And honestly, if you've never been to the boardroom and you were ever a skateboard
it's a
fan,
museum.
It is cool. Yeah. It is the coolest museum I've ever been to in my life, because you walk through. You don't even realize what little emotions happen as you walk through this place, and you see a board that maybe you didn't have but your best friend had or whatever, and you're like, oh my God, and it just you remember a trick all of a sudden. You're just like, oh, I remember he used to do this thing off this car, and it's like everything.
It goes back to when you're 12,
Yeah.
And I've seen grown men tear up in here seeing a skateboard, because I always say this. when you're 12 or 13 years old, that skateboard's the biggest and most important thing in your life.
And,
your wheels.
and unattainable. I mean, the smartest thing skateboard companies have ever done, is understand, and this happened, I'm 50 now, probably right around my late 30s or so, is they realized that those 10 and 12-year-olds that would stand on that side of the counter and look at this amazing wall and go, I want them all. But that 40, 50 bucks, whatever, it was 35 back then, was like $1 million to you back then.
Yeah.
And that was so many lawns that you'd mow and whatever, and yards that you would rake and stuff. And so they recognize that those 10-year-olds are now 40-year-olds and have discretionary spending, and they reissue all these deals, and now they're selling them for more than they've ever sold, and the amount that they're selling.
They're collecting them.
Yeah. I have 275 decks.
There you go.
I'm a full-on addict. It's insane.
No, and I don't even know how many I have, but I'm with you.
I have 35 Roscop decks,
Wow.
different colors, and
You do have an amazing collection.
1 to 5. And,
You posted a photo of them all laid out.
That's not even. That's half of them.
Really?
I haven't posted. It's almost embarrassing. I couldn't pull them out and post the photo. If you go to my Instagram, Andy Lally Racing, it's probably got 130, 140 on there. So picture that doubled.
Wow.
It's
wild.
It's too many.
Well, folks, we had Andy Lally here tonight.
Thank you.
A champion in many forms. And thank you for tuning in, folks. As you know, this will be on YouTube tonight. We will have this on all the podcast platforms and at offthelipradioshow.com.
Right.
Neil, we're going to take a couple of... we're having a band next week.
Now, tomorrow, next Tuesday, the two guys, remember the guy with the skateboard on the bicycle? What's he doing? Going down the streets? What the heck?
He stands up on a bike and he surfs it down to the streets of San Francisco.
And the other guy, look.
And it makes everybody mad.
And the other guy with the bike doing the tricks.
Doing one wheel. He does
Australian.
front wheelies backwards down hills.
Some Australian world champion.
Yeah, which is crazy. So we do have some really athletic, talented people
Got
coming
music
on the
coming
show.
up.
Got music coming
one other
up.
show I'm going to mention is her name is she's swimming Catherine Breed.
She's swimming the coast of California,
She's swimming
right?
the whole coast of California.
And she swam Lake Tahoe.
Yep.
And she is an incredible endurance athlete.
Unbelievable.
And then you were
She
talking.
just swam the Farrell-
you were
Farrell
talking
lot.
about the gal that was in the Korean War.
Yes.
And so that's going to be a neat show. That's going to be a show too, right?
Yes. It's gonna be a show too.
Got a lot of good shows.
A lot of
Yeah.
wackos.
Yeah, I know. We got some good stuff.
Good
coming
shows
up.
coming up, so stay
All right.
tuned.
Well, stay
this
tuned
is
for that.
Santa Cruz. This is the Off the Radio Show.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Off Lip Radio Show. Good night.